all the way through American Gods, which is a big book about gods in America. Little short stories that expand the story and try and shed light on the process of coming to America. And this was the first one that I wrote, and the first one in the book. They navigated the green sea by the stars and by the shore. And when the shore was only a memory, and the night sky was overcast and dark, they navigated by faith. And they called on the All-Father to bring them safely to land once more. A bad journey they had of it, their fingers numb with a shiver in their bones that not even wine could burn off. They would wake in the morning to see that the Rhine had frosted their beards, and until the sun warmed them, they looked like old men, white-bearded before their time. Teeth were loosening, and eyes were deep sunken in their sockets when they made landfall on the green land to the west. The men said, "We are far, far from our homes and our hearts, far from the seas we know and the lands we love. Here, on the edge of the world, we will be forgotten by our gods." Their leader clambered to the top of the great rock, and he mocked them for their lack of faith. "The All-Father made the world," he shouted. "He built it with his hands from the shattered bones and the flesh of Ymir, his grandfather. He placed Ymir's brains in the sky as clouds, and his salt blood became the seas that we crossed. If he made the world, do you not realize that he created this land as well? And if we die here as men, shall we not be received into his hall?" And the men cheered and laughed. They set to with a will to build a hall out of split trees and mud inside a small stockade of sharpened logs, although as far as they knew, they were the only men in the new land. On the day that the hall was finished, there was a storm. The sky at midday became as dark as night, and the sky was rent with forks of white flame, and the thunder crashes were so loud that the men were almost deafened by them, and the ship's cat that they brought with them for good fortune hid beneath the beached longboat. The storm was hard enough and vicious enough that the men laughed and clapped each other on the back, and they said, "The Thunderer is here with us in this distant land," and they gave thanks and rejoiced, and they drank until they were reeling. In the smoky darkness of their hall that night, the bard sang them the old songs. He sang of Odin, the All-Father, who was sacrificed to himself as bravely and as nobly as others were sacrificed to him. He sang of the 9 days that the All-Father hung from the world tree, his side pierced and dripping from the spear point. At this point his song became for a moment a scream. And he sang them all the things the All-Father had learned in his agony, 9 names and 9 runes and twice 9 charms. When he told them of the spear piercing Odin's side, the bard shrieked in pain as the All-Father himself had called out in his agony, and all the men shivered, imagining his pain. They found the Skraeling the following day,